What about like maybe do you think like what do you find positive about online poker? Is there anything that you really like, maybe even like more than at live poker? I mean,
I'll be
many
very
people would
honest.
argue like having a comfort from playing from the home, etc. Maybe.
Sure, sure. I think this is very much goes into whatever is the feeling that you have actually, for poker.
Mm-hmm.
My feeling personally is more for live poker.
Mm-hmm.
But I can totally understand that for some people, online poker is more interesting. For sure, you can play more tables, especially, I don't know, I would say even more in cash game than in tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
Because in cash game, even in live, let's say, whereas in live tournaments, normally the dynamics change by the time that the tournaments, that the blinds go up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So at the beginning of the tournament is a certain dynamic, then is another dynamic, then is another, okay? But in cash game, no. The only change is the table. So basically, if you have certain players, the dynamic might be of a certain kind, and if you have other players, it might be of another kind. But the, let's say, the consequence of action is way more similar to the other, right?
Yeah, true.
So in that sense, what I think is that, yes, if you play cash game, maybe being more robotic is better.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be more profitable if you play online cash game in a certain very strict technical way and very disciplined way.
Yeah, okay. What about for the future, like when everything passes, when everything goes back to normal? Are you gonna play live poker only, or is online poker something that you still wanna kind of at least explore to a certain degree?
I haven't decided yet.
Okay.
Yet. For sure, now that I stepped into online poker, as I'm a competitive person, I want to explore whether this whether I'm able to succeed here as well. Let's say in a way that is similar, or why not better even than in live poker. But for sure, as I'm really waiting that time that the first big tournament reopens to have my buy-in and my seat at the chair.
Cool. You mentioned success, so I think it's a good time to talk about your success a little bit. But first of all, just like an off-topic question, when was the last time you played live tournament or live poker?
Last live tournament I played was in March. I was in Belarus, where I am right now, for Belarus Poker Tour, and that was the last time I played a live tournament.
Yeah. Did you know that it was gonna be your last for a while, or like?
I had no idea. In fact, to be honest, I was planning. I was ready. I already had plans to go to Sochi for the EPT.
Okay.
Which was supposed to be at the end of March. And then I found out that Russia closed borders. That was the first step. They closed borders to Italians because Italy was very affected. I'm from Italy myself. And then even they canceled the tournament. After Sochi, I was supposed to go to Barcelona, and they canceled that one as well. And I said, okay, then let's stay home.
And now we are where we are, right?
Yes, then now we are where we are.
Okay, great. So hopefully it comes back to normal as soon as possible, right? So we can all go to the live tournaments and kind of feel the excitement of live poker.
Sure.
We were just about to talk about your successes. Given the fact that you're not playing for even 2 years now, those results are quite impressive to me. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people will agree. I'm not going to mention every one of those. I watched a couple of YouTube videos. You were on the final table of the SSOP, for example, Slovak Series of Poker, which you won, right? If I'm correct?
Right.
Yeah.
Right, correct.
And you were at the WSOP Colossus tournament, where you had a great result. You were at about 3 final tables of those big tournaments you mentioned, right?
Yes.
So let's talk about this a little bit. Maybe any other results you want to mention to kind of maybe even brag a little bit, because why not? Because those are like respectable results. And also, those final tables. Tell me the story about that.
So, I won 2 tournaments last year. Both of them, I would say, medium size, not very big size, but not very small either. So medium sized tournaments. One was the Slovak Series of Poker main event, which was in end of June, beginning of July last year.
Okay.
And
So
then the
almost there.
second one was in November in Rotterdam, was a WSOP ring. So I have a WSOP ring. I'm very proud of
Yeah,
it.
you should be.
And which was a deep stack tournament in Rotterdam.
Okay.
They both have very funny stories. So the very funny story about the tournament it was in Bratislava, the Slovak Series of Poker. It's very funny because I didn't want to play. So
Okay.
and I'm a triathlete. I mean, I was semi-professional in the past. Right now, I just do it as a passion.
Okay.
So I live most of the year. I mean, except for now in Vienna. And at that time, so Vienna and Bratislava, they are 70 kilometers apart. So I said, okay. I didn't want to play the tournament, but I said, okay, I take my bicycle. I wake up at 7 in the morning. There is a turbo flight starting at 10.
Okay.
There are 70 kilometers. So I have enough time, if I start at 7 from Vienna, to go to Bratislava, leave my bicycle in a hotel, and then most likely is a super turbo, in fact.
Yeah.
And I will be busted, and I go home in the afternoon.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds like
I
an
stayed
interesting
there for
plan.
3 days. I was there for 3 days.
Yeah. And you ended
So
up.
I never. Yeah, and I ended up winning. But the funny story was that there were many times at the beginning of the tournament where I was almost hoping to bust. I remember one time I had only 8 big blinds. I opened my cards. I have ace queen. Very tight guy on my right. He opens, and I know because, as I said, I mean, my skills were also, I mean, on psychology. So I know he has a super strong hand. But I go all in. I have ace queen. I cannot fold. Okay. Everyone folds back to him. Snap call. He has queens.
Okay.
And I get my ace. Okay. And then beginning of day 2, I have 11 big blinds, and I'm in a similar situation. And again, I go on. And then you start to think, okay, if things are really meant to be, okay, they are meant to be. I'm gonna stay here, and that's how things go. So yeah, that's a little bit of the story. And the other thing I want to mention on the ring I won is, it's a little bit funny because at a certain point in the tournament, especially during the final table, I was not the chip leader in the final table. I was the chip leader for a long part of the tournament, but on final table I was 3rd or 4th in chips.
Okay.
And I started to look at the ring, and I think, oh, that ring would look so well on me. and I start to think that, yes, that ring has to be mine.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe sometimes you get self-convinced that something is going to happen. But I really thought that ring would be mine.
Yeah. Interesting.
And in the end, it happened.
Yeah. Congratulations on that one. For sure. And like an amazing backstory to the first, like the first tournament. I had a few funny situations, but this one, I mean, obviously, like planning such a bike trip and then staying there for 3 days and even winning the tournament kind of adds up the cherry on the top of the cake, right?
Right.
Yeah, so really amazing, and huge respect for that one.